Hey there, Danavan Hylton, wishing you a great rest of the day, completely left field, and I thank you for being emotionally intelligent enough to take this message for what it's worth, and if it's not good food, for obviously discarding the information. But I was doing some study, and I came across this particular verse that caught my attention in a unique way, and it's in the Bible here, and it's Genesis chapter 1, verses 11. Now, keep in mind, this is the first chapter of the Bible, this is the first book of the Bible. This is the first book of the Bible, first chapter of the Bible, and the 11th verse. Read between those lines as we go on. And God said, "Let the earth sprout," and I'm reading from the English Standard Version, and this is a book, the Bible, for a friend of mine who was incarcerated, and when he was released, I had a chance to really build personal development, self-development, and on his journey on, he into his next chapter of his life. He's still alive, last time I checked. He wanted to leave. He left me with his Bible for inspiration and faith for me, as I was there to assist him through grace. So I'm reading from his Bible, which happens to be the English Standard Version, and here we go. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind on earth." I read that again, messed that all up. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth." And I thought that was very important, because in this case, I looked at this verse when it comes to let the earth sprout vegetation. I looked at that situation as earth being humankind, a man or a woman, and of course, myself, I'm always challenging myself as a male to walk with Verve and to walk with the highest standards, to deliver the highest energy within and without, as far as into the community and my neighbors and to my immediate family, so that the balance of what's opposite of me can also reach both within and without, so that there is a complete balance. So in saying that, going back, God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation." So I'm looking at earth in this particular case as human beings, and let human beings sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed. Vegetation to me is a sustainable life force. Sustainable life force. If grace is there and everything's done right to cultivate and harvest the vegetation, and when you're able to produce vegetation that produces quality seeds for future vegetation, that's always a good thing, and it's always obviously sustainable for the fundamentals of biology, which is survival, number one, which is food, and then the second is reproduction. And reproduction is also treated like food when it comes to intimacy, which is naturally hardwired within human beings, which is another conversation. But, and knowing that, we're saying that man is, let man sprout great seeds, so that each according to its kind. So there's different seeds, and every seed is unique. Every seed is different, and that's where the term diversity comes in. But I believe that's what makes life precious, because with diversity, we're able to grow, we're able to learn, we're able to ask questions, we're able to self-develop, we're able to become more patient. And it takes time, and it takes a lot of sacrifice. And I say that very broad, but when you look at the larger time span, that's the evolution of life from a newborn and infant to the maturity and the passing on to the next journey. And so when I look at this verse again, let man sprout vegetation and seeds, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed. So each community, each ethnicity is different. They have their own style, but each according to its kind on earth. And it was so. So there's already a understanding that there's diversity. The seeds are different. Each seed has its own function, its own origin, its own purpose. But in that, they're all designed to work together and be what they are. And so when I say, in this case, let man produce the fruits, that means I'm saying let man produce, and that's women too, families, if you will, produce vervial, if that's a word, children with verve. Produce children with verve, which means that that individual has to be an individual with Verve. And I'm challenging you to look up that word Verve, because there's a spiritual connotation that blends into the physical conversation that we're having to complete the full development and maximization of what we're supposed to be on in this reality and in this experience. That's at least my mindset, and my values are derived from that, and therefore I'm able to produce the ideas and actions that produce the results that I'm looking and the community is looking to receive. So I'm going to read that verse one more time. And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants, yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth. And it was so. That's powerful. So if there's different seeds, all producing, first of all, let the earth. So it's already given that, using the word let, from the authoritarian perspective, let the earth sprout vegetation. So there's no challenges or hiccups as to why, and it's easier said than done. And that's why there's a lot of challenges as far as the social side, as well as the economic side of human existence. But we have to first develop ourselves and develop our mind, to first have patience with ourselves, to first have patience with our neighbors, to first have patience with our family and our children. Because if we're not able to do that, this world is never going to change. Because how's the world going to change? I'm still throwing trash on the ground as I'm driving. I'm not saying nothing's right or wrong about that. I'm just saying, like, how far are we willing to go, though? And more importantly, how far are you willing to go? Because you might be the only one. I might be the only one. So really, we could be talking to ourselves. And that's where you have people saying, oh, well, there's a mental illness, which is another conversation. But at the same time, the first book of the first chapter of the 11th verse, ponder on that. If there's any comments, please leave them. Or if you have any topics you'd like for me to get into, let me know. Thank you for, of course, clicking the link, as I'm self-employed. And this is definitely taking time, but I do it out of love and out of duty and task. And what I'm doing exactly is just stepping outside my comfort zone. And as I'm going and self-developing, sharing this information to be challenged in a professional, positive, integral way. And that's how the conversations and dialogues get started. So thank you for clicking the link to pay what you felt this message was worth to you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for clicking all the other links to like, subscribe, and follow what Malik and I are doing through our various businesses. And congrats in advance for your success. Peace.